Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you Act 1 builds for Sciel, Lune, Gustave, and Maelle in Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, these characters all have their own unique way of playing them, and I'll be breaking down how to use their skills and what attributes to build around. So first off, we're just going to go through the attributes here. So Gustave, he's going to have some pretty good health scaling, so that's why I went with a higher health pool. So they're ranging from 18 to 20. If you're lower level, don't worry. I'll talk about where to allocate your stats and when. So here you can see vitality is going to be an important stat, depending on your weapon scaling as well. So I got a weapon here. Pretty much everyone's going to have an agility scaling weapon for the most part, except for Sciel there. I don't have one on her. So obviously pick the stats that reflect your weapon the best, but agility is going to be a good one to work on. Now for Gustave, he's got more health, so he may as well put up his health a little bit higher. So I recommend getting his health up to like 6 here, putting some more points into his agility. And the big part of Gustave's kit is the ability to stack criticals to get his overcharge. So we want to increase his critical hit chance for that reason there. And you can see he actually has some pretty good critical hit scaling early on. So getting this up to like 10 can be good for that 20% critical hit chance. So 1 in 5 attacks, and his Lumiere assault attack that does 5 attacks, you got a pretty good chance of getting some overcharge from that. Now, agility is also a good stat to have for more speed, defense, and attack power is always a useful thing, but we want to get his health up pretty quick. So once you can get to 1,000 health, it's going to allow you to take a few hits, because sometimes you just miss the dodge inputs. It happens. It's part of the game. So getting his health up to 20 is nice, because this gives you a good amount to work with. You can just go for about the 14, 15 range first, then get his agility up a little bit higher. I'd like to get this upwards around there, put this up to 20, and then put the rest of his points into his luck, because critical hit chance is super impactful for him. Let me put the final points into there, give it a little bit more defense. So with Gustave, vitality, agility, and luck. If you don't have a weapon that scales off, most of his weapons will scale off agility, but big thing is luck and vitality for Gustave. Next to Lune. Now, she's an interesting character because she's like the classic healer. You see, we have 20 vitality here, and her health is only 600, versus 20 vitality on Gustave, we got 1,100, so literally double. We still want to invest a bit in her vitality and her defense. She actually has a very good defensive rating there too. The reason we're putting points into there, she's your healer, so we want to have her stay alive. So giving a little bit of vitality, agility too, because moving quickly and playing more often is important for her. Be able to get her flame up, because she's all about applying burn, keeping your team alive if they got hurt. And she can actually restore her action points pretty quickly with her ability to, if someone's burning, which I'll get into in the skills section. But for Lune here, getting a bit of health is nice, because she needs to survive a couple hits to be able to heal herself and heal others. Obviously, Gustave's kind of the tankier character here, getting some points into agility and some into defense to reduce the incoming damage that she takes. Even without much, she's got a high critical hit chance, but it's not as impactful as having a high critical hit chance like Gustave. So going with a spread like this can work very well. And for Maelle, she's an interesting character. Might is a good skill to go for, but depending on the weapon scaling, you can get some defensive weapons in the early game for her. She's got the defensive stance, which is really effective too. Now, agility, it's really good for really all characters. Moving faster, playing more often is really effective. She's also someone that benefits from high luck. You can see we got 20 luck on Gustave for 25% critical hit chance. She has a 37. So that's even without a weapon that scales off of luck too. So from that, she's able to deal a ton of damage, especially with her virtuose stance, which can just one-shot people. I like to go with a bit of agility. You can spec into might though. She's got a pretty high attack power, not compared to some of the other characters here. But getting her agility up too, so she moves quicker. I found that this worked well. I didn't find I've tried a higher vitality. It doesn't really, her health doesn't scale the same way as others do. So, well, you want to have a bit of vitality. It just works best to go this way, I found, with high agility, high defense, and a good bit of luck. And Sciel, this is going to matter entirely on the weapon that you got for her, but she's got good health scaling, so I was able to get up 900 health. You can pop that a little bit higher too if you wanted to. For agility, making her go quick and move more frequently was nice too, since she wants to stack up her cards and then use up the cards to get action points, and then you use those action points to do firing. You can fire shots with her, because she can get 9 action points no problem. And critical hit chance, this is super effective because she does have some damaging moves that I've seen 999 on damage easily with her attacks. So she can do a lot. Vitality, agility, and luck being her best stats, depending on the weapon, but you don't get too many weapon choices, just a couple in the Act 1. So going with something like that. Now, we also got different Pictos here. So For Gustave, getting an extra action point of battle, and also you got Luminas here, which are good too, so we can get multiple of these. So +1 action point in the battle start. Healing parry, get health back on a parry. That can be pretty effective. It also gives you a bit of health, 127. This one also gives you 320 health. So pick these that give you stats that you want. So I have him mostly built around like the health points. You can swap these out for some of the higher level ones here. I just didn't grab. So like this one gives you 43 speed, much better. This one will give you 304 health. This is 308 health, which is really good. Energizing Pain's actually really good. If you don't plan on parrying, this is really effective because this gives you an extra 300 health and 34 defense. And any time you get hit, you get action points. This is actually a very effective Picto to get early on in the game. And that extra health is super effective. So I'd recommend that. Healing parry is on him there, so we didn't go with that. But if you went with the energizing pain, that's actually probably a better option. And then going with our final one here for something like the taking stuff that's going to give you health or critical hit rate. Like this can boost up his critical hit chance by quite a bit. So going with something like that can work well too. And for Lune here, I got the burning shots on free aim. Super nice. You can also put that on anyone else. As long as you get you take up 4 encounters with these, you can apply them to anyone with your Luminas here. So for her Luminas, I also have the augmented aim, increase range on, or damage on that. +3 AP on killing an enemy. That should be on pretty much everyone. That's super useful. Increased critical hit chance if health below 30%. Really nice too. The dodger, +1 AP on a perfect dodge once per turn. Really effective. Had that on everyone for 1 Lumina. That's extremely effective. Cleans and Tinct. I mean, you just take the ones that you get early in the game because you're likely going to have a lot of these here. The attack lifesteal is one that I have on Gustave there because just main attack, recovering your health. So effective, especially if you have, like I attack with him more so than use a skill sometimes. Being able to heal yourself back is really nice. Also getting break damage on counters, increased chance of burning. You also want to have him be the one that sets up your attacks that are going to apply mark. So that's a nice choice there. Dodger as always. Everyone should have the dodger on. So you can see there, I got that on everybody. Maelle's also got the attack lifesteal, augmented aim, and all of that there. So she's got 24 Lumina points at this level. Pretty effective. You also use the paint of Lumina to also increase this. I only use it on her and Gustave here. So someone like Lune here's only got 18 and she's got 20 there. So again, use the best thing that you got. Attack lifesteal being a really effective one. Burning shots too, because there's a lot of abilities like Maelle can get a go into a virtuoso stance for off of burning. So that is another nice thing to have as well. So yeah, again, use the ones that you are able to find and use. So yeah, those would be best. Weapon is best available, honestly. Upgrade the ones. I like to have fire damage, so I use the light ram on her. On Gustave, I have the Galta ram, which does earth damage. Not something that's very effective, but it's the best available weapon that I had. Abyssal ram's nice too with the 323 damage, but again, go for the best that you can find. I have Deunum. There's a better weapon for her if you go to the place where you fight in the arena. You can fight with her and get a really good weapon. In a defensive stance, gaining AP also gives 1+ AP to allies. So the Deunum is really good for her weapon because if you're in defensive stance, you can gain AP and apply it to your team, which is so effective because, yeah, being able to give the whole team a bunch of AP, I can't even talk about how, I can't even understate how effective that is. And for her, I had the Shatian here. Sun skills always apply 10 foretell, but all damage taken is doubled. So she's a higher risk, higher reward character. You just use her regular weapon and level it up appropriately. So that's what we're rolling with there as far as we got for weapons and Pictos. Now for skills, this is where you really get the builds put together. So for Gustave here, I got the Lumiere Assault. Obviously that and Overcharge are the core components of his kit. So Lumiere Assault will do 5 hits. Again, critical hits will do an additional charge. So that's what we built around his critical hit chance. With 26% critical hit chance, you'll likely get at least 1 extra additional charge off of that. Overcharge, high lightning damage. You always want to try to build this up and apply it. I also find Powerful is extremely effective. So this will boost up your allies, increasing the damage they deal by 25% for 3 turns. Really nice. 1 to 3 allies though. So if you fail the QTE, you're not going to apply it to your team. But if you get it, it's the whole team getting that extra damage. And it gives you 0 to 2 charges. So this is great to start off with. Marking shot will apply mark. That's kind of nice. From fire will heal yourself for 20% if the target burns. You're always going to have fire up because we have 2 characters that can apply burn easily. And Strike Storm's nice if you have 7 ability points because this will actually do a ton of damage. So that works very well. As for Lune, so we look into her skills. I found that Overall, immolation, dealing low target fire damage, and 3 burn is really good. So applying burn is nice, especially if the target's marked. You can deal additional 2 burn. We also got ourselves wildfire here, so it deals medium wild fire damage to all enemies in 1 hit. So that's good if there's multiple enemies. You can swap that off for boss fights. Healing light, super effective heal. So you can use that to heal your team. And you got 2 green charges that cost 0 AP, so that's pretty nice. Earth Rising deals low target damage earth to all enemies. You can swap that out for other options too, like Thunderfall, which does a lot of lightning damage, or Ice Lance, which is nice. So I also like to have the thermal transfer. So if the target's burning, you get 4 AP. You can use this endlessly. She'll get a bunch of shots, so you can do her gun attack, and you'll constantly be regaining AP with this attack. And then Mayhem, you kind of always want to have this ability on. It consumes all your stains to deal high elemental damage, can break if 4 stains are consumed. So this is great for breaking the target's posture, really effective. So I highly recommend always having Mayhem on, and just remembering to use it once you get 4 attacks in. So usually on the 5th turn, that'll be it. Now for Maelle, she's got a lot of good options. Now I found that the going with our offensive switch is going to be one of the best ones here. So this gives defenseless for 3 turns, so we can deal a bunch of extra damage. Once you have that applied, you can do a ton of damage. So I always recommend having that applied to the boss. Fencer's Flurry deals medium target to all enemies, so you can swap that on off, obviously, if you're fighting against just a single target, and applies defensive for 1 turn. Spark, this is her way of applying fire, and if you're in the offensive stance, it'll do 2 more burns, but 3 burns is still pretty good for 3 turns. Swift Stride, low target physical damage, switch to Virtuose stance if the target is burning, and regain 0 to 2 OP. This is really good, because this gets you in the Virtuose stance, which you really want to have. Breaking Rules is also good. Low target's physical damage, 2 hits, destroys all target shields and gain 1 AP per shield destroyed. If the target is defenseless, play a 2nd turn. This crazy. Breaking Rules, whenever you get to actually use this, very effective. Don't forget to use it whenever the target has shields up. It's crazy strong. And Fleurette Fury deals high single target physical damage, 3 hits. If in Virtuose stance, stay in Virtuose stance. Can break. So this is 6 action points. Basically, you get into Swift Stride, use that for high single target damage, and you can stay in the stance. Very, very effective. So it's basically set up with Spark, use Swift Stride, Fleurette Fury, get your parries off if you're in your defensive stance, because there's some that will apply the defensive stance. And Pierce is also really good. I like to take this instead of the Fencer's Flurry as well. So with Pierce, deals medium single target physical damage, 1 hit, increased damage to marked targets, and Virtuose stance will only cost 2. So whenever in your Virtuose stance, after this, you can go with the Pierce there. And then with that, if it's a marked target, you're likely going to deal, it says increased damage. I can't understate how much it's a lot of extra damage. So very effective. And finally, we got ourselves Sciel here. So what we got going for her kit, so Twilight Slash deals low target dark damage, 1 hit, consumes all Foretell to deal extra damage, and this is actually a very powerful attack. But we're always starting off with Focused Foretell. Deals medium single target physical damage, 1 hit, applies 2 Foretell, applies 3 additional Foretell if the enemy has 0. So use this to start, because you'll have no Foretell, and this will stack up. If you have the weapon that I have, it's going to stack 10 of these, and what that means is then when we do Twilight Slash, it does a ton of damage. And then we also gain her action points back whenever that happens, so then she's going to be crazy. The Spectral Sweep is 7 action points, but deals medium high target damage, 2 to 6 hits. It uses the weapon's element, applies 1 Foretell for hit. So after you do basically focus Foretell, Twilight Slash, remove them, and then you go Spectral Sweep to reapply. Harvest here will heal yourself. Searing Bond will deals medium target dark damage, 1 hit, applies 5 Foretell, and also deals the damage and applies Foretell to every other burning enemy. So when you have multiple burning enemies, you can use this to apply the Foretell. Rush is nice to increase their speed. But I also like to go in her skill tree. There's the other ability here. You can respec and take the Grim Harvest. Deals medium target dark damage, 1 hit. Heals all allies for 30%. Consume Foretell to heal additional 5% for Foretell. So if you have 10, that's 80% health regeneration. Crazy. So this is great on boss fights. I highly recommend having this because it heals all allies for 30% plus that 5 for Foretell. So yeah, you can literally get a almost full heal off from this. It does use 5 action points, but this one is extremely useful. We actually have enough just to be able to take it right now, so that's good. Especially for the final boss of Act 2, you really want to have this target, especially if you're getting hit and having a hard time parrying. So there it is. Those are the best builds for each of the characters in Expedition 33, Clair Obscur. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.